The new season of Dr. Stone is quickly shaping up to be one of the best ones. Sakamoto Days fans in true anime fan fashion have started harassing staff members online. Studio Mappa original Zenshu is slowly winning me over with its meta isekai premise, and 1 month in, the winter season is holding its own. Welcome back to another episode of this month in anime. Month? Week? Month. Wait, let me check. So it hasn't been a month since the last one, but it has been well over a week. Either option works, I don't really care. No intro edit for you this time around, I don't know which one to use. Since the month of January is almost over, I thought I'd make a quick, simple video going over a bunch of stuff. Nothing too complex. That last video was over 23 minutes long. I almost game ended myself whilst editing it, so that won't happen for the foreseeable future. Make sure to subscribe. See that subscribe button down there? That red thing? Press it. Press it now. Don't wait for the video to end, you'll forget. Do it right now.
And I'm proud to be an American.
The new season of Dr. Stone has been amazing so far. Anyone who makes a part joke is getting blocked. I know you can't block people on YouTube, but it's the sentiment that counts. Back to the topic at hand, it's not like the previous seasons were bad. They were not, are you kidding me? That one scene from that one season nearly made me tear up. They were great, but this season features the strongest start since season 1 really. It genuinely felt adventurous. The crew was quite literally sailing into the unknown, and it was fascinating. Also, something Kohaku in a dress. Normally, I'd do a bit where I'd hurriedly go and look up her age, but the wiki gave me 3 different answers, so I don't know. Anyway, the crew has now reached America, the land of freedom, delicious assault rifles, and powerful cheeseburgers. Or is it the other way around? I will refrain from making a political joke. Statistically, most of you watching are from the US, so that's risky territory, but come on. They landed on American soil and almost immediately got shot at. Come on, the jokes write themselves at this point. One thing that really stood out to me is how good this season has been at building specific atmospheres. Whether it's the sense of an unfathomable amount of time passing as they sail past the place where the Golden Gate Bridge once stood, or the genuine sense of uncertainty and danger they managed to convey during this scene. The overall direction has been on point this season. Also, while we are on that topic, this season looks amazing. There's a fair bit of movement present, this phenomenal sequence from episode 3 being the highlight. The sequence was animated by veteran animator Fujio Suzuki, and it was so good. The drawing power, the line work, the bounce and energy behind the motion, the strong character poses, the flow, it was perfect. This sequence was possibly the single best looking scene across the entire show. It's up there with those early Hiroyuki Horiuchi highlights. It probably outdoes those. It's that good. I was genuinely surprised. It looks like the team is going that extra mile due to this being the final season, and I'm really looking forward to see where this season goes from here on out, both in terms of the story and visuals. Good stuff. Sakamoto Days, let's briefly talk about it because again, that last video was 23 minutes long. I still can't believe it ended up being that long. How did I edit it? First things first, let's talk about some of you lot. Not you probably pretentious viewers specifically, but the wider you. The low-life Sakamoto Days fan you. Some of you really went there, huh? Here's what happened. A high-ranking Sakamoto Days staff member reposted a fan art because they thought it looked cool, and some fans started harassing them to the point where they deleted the post and had to apologize. You know what's the worst part? Stuff like this is becoming increasingly common. It's becoming normalized. Fans now have easy access to the staff names, and they are more than willing to abuse that access. I won't name the staff member in question or show their Twitter. I do think you guys know better than to harass staff members regardless of how much you dislike a product, but I can't guarantee who'll watch this video, nor can I control it, so I won't risk it. The last thing I want to be is the middleman between the staff and the hatred. Now, I'm about to say something unprecedented, something that'll blow your socks off. If I were you, I'd hold on to something. Ready? Here goes. goes. Harassing staff members working on an anime, regardless of the context, is not good. Boom, cue the explosions. I know that was a lot, but you did well. In all seriousness, stuff like this is absolute bottom-feeding, jobless activity. Thankfully, things weren't that serious this time around. At least I don't think they were. But let's not make this the precedent. As for the show itself, episode 4 was cool, wasn't it? The action was a step up from episodes 2 and 3, the effects looked great, and the character animation during the action scenes looked solid. It was a good episode. I didn't really check up on the manga readers, so I don't know if they liked it. They probably found something to dislike, but it is what it is. You know, some of you disagreed with my previous video. You guys were like, how dare you only read the first 10 or so chapters of the manga? You should have read chapter, 133 before comparing it to the anime. That's when it gets good. And to those people I say, why on God's green earth would I do that? Why would I compare an episode to anything except the chapter that it adapts? It doesn't make any sense. You don't watch Jujutsu Kaisen episode 3 and compare it to the Shibuya arc from the manga, do you? You compare the Shibuya arc from the manga with the Shibuya arc from the anime. Comparing it to anything else is moronic. I'll look into chapter 133 or whatever when it gets adapted. For now, I'll only consider the chapters the anime has covered. Like, seriously, what's the thought process there? Oh, the anime is handling the portion of the manga it's supposed to adapt well. Let's ignore that and compare it to the manga as it is right now, hundreds of chapters in. Why would you do that? It's so stupid. Man, the Sakamoto Days anime has it rough, doesn't it? It's not exactly a smooth production behind the scenes. And on top of that, the fan base it caters to ranges from stupid to outright hurtful. I feel terrible for the staff. Moving on, Studio Mappa's Zenshu has been fairly interesting so far. I'm still not fully sold on the isekai premise, but I'm willing to see where it goes. Besides that, a few interesting bits of information about the show have popped up. For example, we got a general idea of how long this show has been in production for. Keep in mind, this is not concrete information, but it's solid. Remember Buchigiri, that one Studio Mappa show that aired around this time last year? Apparently, episode 7 of that show and episode 3 of Zenshu were produced at roughly the same time. So, over a year back, give or take. This information comes from Twitter user Hexagon Hill, who almost certainly got it from animator Hisashi Kagawa's Twitter. He alluded to a show that paid homage to Tiger Mask, and that doesn't happen often, does it? I think he was talking about Zenshu. But if that's true, doesn't that mean the production is healthy? And if so, why are the staff lists so messy? Well, it's hard to be sure. Just because a show was being worked on all the way back then doesn't automatically mean it had a reasonable deadline. But at the same time, and I can't remember who it was, but someone suggested this, perhaps Studio Mappa has embraced that second key animator army culture to the point where they rely on them even when the conditions are lenient, just to speed things up even more. Again, I'm not sure which theory is correct, but it's an interesting topic. Food for thought, if you will. Solo leveling, let's talk about it for a second. The most recent episode as of this recording was fairly low-key. Most of it consisted of dialogue, and it was fine. Although it and the episodes it succeeded showed quite a few visual cracks, although that's a topic I won't dive into here. I am a bit concerned. Still, based on what I can tell and based on what I've heard, episode 6 is the next big episode, and I am expecting a lot from it. At its best, Solo Leveling visually is up there. I think people still don't understand just how absurdly high quality season 1 episode 11 was, probably because it wasn't one of those effects and impact frame heavy spectacles. Make no mistake, it was absolutely phenomenal, a technical masterclass. I hope an episode or two from this season is able to match that quality. Besides these major names, a few other titles currently have my attention. That Guild Receptionist show is quite fun. The plot is slowly morphing into a convoluted mess, but for now, it's genuinely enjoyable. The characters are silly and their interactions are fun to watch. 100 Girlfriends Season 2 is exactly what you'd expect it to be. That Your Name gag from the first episode genuinely cracked me up. Competent comedy is rare amongst this genre, but this anime successfully strikes the balance between stuff that's funny and stuff that's simply weird. Tasokare Hotel has me hooked. It's really interesting. It's a slow burn, but it's genuinely intriguing. That fourth episode was something. I won't spoil spoil it, but oh boy, it was genuinely unnerving. Momentary Lily is probably the most confusing title airing this season, which I guess is to be expected. I genuinely cannot tell what this show is going for, tonally speaking. One episode is horrifying and tragic, and the next one is cheerful. It feels demented, it's bizarre, and it's interesting. Of course, the visuals are exactly what you'd expect them to be. Studio Gohans, do I need to elaborate? I do not. Good season so far. Sure, dime a dozen isekai will dime a dozen isekai, but as a whole, there are plenty of interesting titles worth keeping an eye on. And that should just about do it. Like I said near the start, I plan on this being a quick recap, so I won't talk about any other topic or add any other sections, mainly to preserve my own sanity. Let me know which seasonals you are enjoying the most and which ones you aren't. That's the most cliched call to action ever. I apologize. Still, do let me know. Comments are good for engagement. Like the video if you enjoyed. I have a cold, so my voice probably sounds funny. I hope it wasn't too distracting. Check out this other bit of content on screen, like and subscribe, and until next time.